Welcome to the Tank Perry Show. I'm your man, Tank. Together we'll explore the landscape of the retail automotive industry.
So tell our viewers what you do now and how, because it's really fascinating, right, Corey? How you personally transitioned and took what you did to what you do now for six
Sure,
stores.
sure. So as general manager for a company called Full Wheel Parts, and that's the American Auto Parts was the parent company. Full Wheel Parts was the retail outlet for them. They had a division called Dealer Services, and specifically tasked with going to dealerships and preloading inventory on their lots for sale. And we built them back at my facility, and so I was over facilitating that and making sure things got done, safety, precautions were taken in place, and we're delivering a product back to our dealerships that they could sell. So it was really a partnership with that dealership because I'm an extension of their business in many ways. If they have a problem, then I have a problem. And even though we had outside sales reps, I took it on myself to do a lot of those things and get out there. So I was going into my store and being general manager from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. And then after that, going out to dealerships on my own, just trying to stir up the business. And in doing so, I came across and I built a lot of relationships with dealers, and to a level that I'd never really seen before. Whenever you're not talking to a salesman, now you're talking to a general manager, you're talking to a dealer principal. And I became fascinated by the operations as a whole. And I think that's a lot, and we'll get into this a little bit later, but I think that is a testament to how we can get more people involved in the automotive world if they see the business savviness that goes along with operating a dealership. So I started being around and actually rubbing elbows with some of these dealerships and building great relationships. And I took it a step further. So, normally if someone's building an aftermarket truck, they're just after, okay, give me that Dodge Ram, give me whatever, and let's build it up. Let's get it back to you. But I took it to the point where, an owner of a dealership, matter of fact, the one I work for now, says, hey, we want to do some Dodge Rams at our Dodge store. Let's pick out some trucks, and that and the other. We're thinking this one. And for a vendor, the guy who does lift kits, to say, you know what, hey, the SLT or whatever it was at the time, this particular model has $8,000 in rebate, so it would be a good idea to do that one and this and the other. And I think they really started to understand the partnership and the commitment that I had towards those dealerships whenever you go the extra mile to do stuff like that. And, went on for years. And at some point in time, it was just time to make a career change. And I had no idea what I was going to do, but I knew it was time for a change. And so I had actually given notice to the company that I worked for, saying that, January 3rd is probably going to be my last day. I can possibly transition to a different position within a different department or something like that. But January 3rd, I'm done being a general manager. And then it became, I just need to completely separate. Like, I'm just done. And so I gave notice. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no idea. And I absolutely slept like a baby. I have a wife, I have 3 kids. I just gave notice that at the beginning of 2020, I'm going to leave my position that I've had for 18 years, cumulative 18 years, and I'm going to do something else. Don't know what, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
2 weeks goes by, and man, I sleep like a baby. And just one night, I woke up in the middle of the night, and it's like, you know what? I need to figure out what I'm going to do. And I wasn't that worried about it, but I was like, I need to figure out what I was going to do. And if you're a believer, you'll know what I'm talking about. When you hear that word, when you know that, all right, this is what I'm supposed to do. And it was it was steering me towards calling Jack Hodge, who's the CEO, president of Hodge Auto Group, and saying, hey, I'd like to sit down and talk to you about coming to work for you. And by now it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. So I was like, all right. Again, I went back to sleep, slept like a baby. Woke up a couple hours later, and I kid you not, I woke up probably about 6:30. At 7:07, I remember the time, I get a text message from Jack Hodge saying, hey man, call me. I got a couple projects I need your help with.
Fantastic.
I hear
Thank
you,
you.
Lord, like,
Yeah,
all right.
I hear you.
And to kind of condense the story here is kind of present them with what I'd like to do for them, how I'd like to do it, how I'd like to be compensated. And I walked into about a 45-minute meeting with them and walked out with a job. And so here I am. So I came here to help do aftermarket and assist with marketing. And this is a testament to how God works. So I've always kind of wanted to shift towards marketing, less towards the aftermarket. And the aftermarket, the custom stuff is something I'll never completely outgrow.
Right.
But it's something I love for myself. And even though I spent a great time with my career as it being my job, it was just time to move on. It's time to grow, time to do something else. And so, like I said, this is how God works. Come February of 20, like, hey, we'd like to internalize all of our marketing efforts into the dealership. We'd like to house it all here, have a point person that runs it. We've got some training set up for that person. Pray about it. Let me know if you know anybody that might be interested in that position.
Really?
I even kind of go, are you asking or,
Yeah.
And so I raised my hand and, so I transitioned to the director of marketing for James Hodge Auto Group. Now, mind you, never worked for an agency. I've only worked technically for a dealership for a few months.
Right.
But I think that he knew that, I was, if I failed at it, I was going to fail at 110%. He was going to get every ounce of work out of me, effort out of me to make this successful. And so I embarked on a complete training regimen to build out an internal advertising agency within our auto group. And it's been successful. Now, mind you, this all began right as the pandemic is setting in. I mean,
that's right.
After I took the position, 2 weeks later, it's, hey, what is this thing and how's it going to affect us?
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, we've got to make some tough decisions at the dealership and look at what we're going to do, and state and local precautions and uncharted territory. So, again, maybe not the greatest time to transition jobs, but faith, man.
But God, right? But God.
But God, man. So I've always had the principle that you work like it's up to you, and you believe like it's up to God.
That's very good.
Itself out. So now we're sitting here in May of the following year, and site traffic has come up and leads are come up, and despite everything going on, everything that I've set out to do has been successful thus far. So thank God for that. And that kind of leads me to another thing is, we talked about how you attract talent within the automotive world. And it's not just selling cars. It may start as that, or it can start as a porter or a lube technician or whatever, but the growth is exponential, has exponential possibilities within the automotive world, as you can attest. I mean, here I am sitting here, and I've technically only been in the automotive world for just over a year now. And I'm looking at what's next for me. And it's not only the dealership world, it's advertising agencies, marketing.
Yes.
With everything coming down the line with Google and Apple and everything going on, people are going to have to be on the cutting edge of technology to successfully run a dealership.
That is correct.
We've transitioned from the typical, I sold cars for 10 years, I'm next in line for that sales manager position. I was a sales manager, worked at desk, worked F&I for these number of years. I'm next in line for a general manager. That type of thinking is not going to be the next generation of general manager.
Right. You can
marketing.
No, you're right. You can no longer think linear. You cannot think this is going to happen because it doesn't work. It doesn't translate.
So the next generation of general managers is going to look completely different from its predecessor.
Yes, no doubt about it. What do you say to some young African-American man or woman that's
not to do it for an OEM that you love and not do it for a dealer?